Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today we're looking at the game Urbify. This had a setup, play and review video. This is a game for 2 to 4 players. It takes, about 45 minutes to play. I would generally say for your first few plays, a bit more than that, slightly over an hour. There are various tiles we're looking to construct at various places in a city because we are representing politicians and we're looking to influence tourism, this is commerce, this is culture, and this is transportation. So we're going to shuffle these up and bring these various tiles into play. And this is a game whereby you're looking to have the most influence, most points at the end of the game, and that is triggered by reaching the level 2 deck. So once these level 1 deck cards are gone, then we're on to level 2 tiles, and once the final one is brought into play, that triggers the sort of end game condition, and then everybody is going to take another 2 more turns each once the end of round player has been. So imagine you're the start player and you bring out that final level 2 tile from this deck. Okay, so as you can see, you go through level 1 tiles first, then we're triggering the end of the round, and then play 2 more rounds. Before I say anything else, I would definitely have said it would be a better idea to have a little kind of 3-2-1 counter that you do amend, just to show you how many rounds we do have left. Now everyone is going to take a little player board. Now as you can see, I'm just trying to have everything in shot without having to zoom out too much and losing some quality. But what you can see over here is a board. So everyone's going to play as a politician. Everyone's going to have a different coloured board, and everyone's going to have these kind of little holes whereby you're showing your influence in those various elements. Again, we have tourism, we have e-commerce or commerce, we have culture, and we have transportation. So far, we're all equally influenceable in these. But as you can see, you can knock these down to 0. We also have development points, which we're going to need 2. So what do you want to spend those development points on? Well, you are going to start off with a few kind of advisors, and as you can see, we start off with 4, and then you're going to have 2 off in the pool off to one side. So everyone's going to do the same. I'm just going to bring out a couple of people out just to show you as an example to play against. And on your turn, this is where you have a little player aid built into your board. You can do one of 2 things. You can start to spread your influence. So I can take my politicians, I can take either 1 or 2 or 3 and do something like this. And what this means is I can increase my influence in this case, of course, tourism. We happen to have e-commerce, and we happen to have culture. For some reason, I think tourism in this, I just keep thinking this could be culture as well. I'm just thinking maybe something a bit more interesting. I mean, yeah, Statue of Liberty is the most obvious one to think about, perhaps. However, that is one thing I can do. Instead of doing that, I can place 2, but only 2, and only 2 at most, in one location. And again, if you did 2, you're bumping up on green more. Why do you want to bump up? Well, let's just say I've got, in this case, I've done all this, I've bumped up here, someone else has taken a turn, let's just say they did this, it's back to my turn. Well, I've got 1 person left. I can either place this out here, or I can try and buy one of these tiles. Now in this case, let's see what I can buy. Well, I can buy this one. Why? Because it's going to cost me 1, obviously tourism, 1 culture, and 1 transportation, because of building a bridge, and bridges need obviously good connections. They obviously help you get to tourism. It all even looks like Golden Gate Bridge, and of course it's very culturally relevant. So very interesting how they kind of put that all together. So to do that, I'm going to spend what that is. So spend myself 1 of those tourisms, 1 of the cultures, 1 of the transportations, so it goes back to 0. And then I can take that tile, and we're basically going to have a central place where we're going to build off. So I know I've got everything in shot here, but let's just say I put it down here. It could go anywhere you like. We're going to be building out a maximum by 6 by 6 grid, so you can't get any bigger than that. I know that is just about in shot, but as you can see, it's just come down. And as I mentioned, this kind of time track, we now reveal a new thing up here. So I spent all that stuff, and in this case, it does cost me 1 worker, one of these like meeple, one of these obviously politicians, but some of them will cost you 2, so you might need to keep 2 back. Again, you cannot access these guys yet. So what does this give me? Well, it'll give me 3 points. So I'm going to take my little disc over here, my little cylinder, to give myself 3 points. Again, I wish that might have been square because they can roll, as we know. And if you pass 80 points, by the way, you can check out this as well, leave it next to you or something. And they also have other abilities. So this is where we do need to go through this player reference. It is very good. It's nice to sort of know a bit about it. But as an example, we're doing the level 1 tiles. Everything's listed at the back. Obviously, this is a grey tile. It's known as a mixed building tile. And basically, you're obtaining the sum of the prestige points from 2 adjacent buildings of the same colour that are constructed anywhere in the city. So if I manage to get these 2 out and somebody place them here, or I place them here or here, one action I can do, which I'll come back onto in a second, if I take it off, I would get 7 points, because I'm getting the points of 2 connected, hence it being a bridge, that thematically things works, relating to 2 of the same colour. Again, if these 2 were somewhere in the city, next to each other, then taking this guy off will give me 8 points, 3 plus 5. Anyway, for example, I have done all the types of options you can do if there are people in your, like, I don't know, office, in your political office. So you can place people out here gaining influence, or you can spend that influence to get at more building constructions. That's what you can do. But now, everybody's out. What you can do is either take off this worker and score, but again, there's nothing to score, it's optional, but there's nothing else out here in the city, or instead, I can choose to retrieve my workers. So what do you get when you retrieve your worker? Well, here's this bit's working in action. If you take this guy off, I'll get myself one influence and culture, so that would go up by 1. I also get a bonus 1 because I'm the person triggering it. So that's basically relating to this. I get a bonus of 1. So I was over in culture, I'm now up to 3. 3 is good because, as you can see, I do need 3 culture to do this particular building as well, which might well be a church or a hospital. Again, we can check what it is. These various buildings happens to be a cultural building, and it happens to be a college or university, or college universities. And again, I can talk to you about what those mean in a second. But basically, you're losing 1 person back to the pool. So you're playing with only 3 workers, but you will get 3 development points. So I could be doing that. I could be choosing to take this guy off, or I can take off this guy, as you've seen. Same thing over here. If I take it over here, this is a bit different. I will take off 1 person. So again, I get my bonus, 1 + 1, but this person will also gain something. However, this person gets all their people back, so they're going to gain 2 culture, so they're actually being benefited. So they're going to bump up on 2, or sorry, not culture, on tourism, and I get, of course, my 1 + 1 bonus. However, if they have exactly 1 person as an opponent, what they get is 1 tourism point, and also they're going to get themselves 2 victory points. They, as you see, being grey, being the non-active player, gain 2 victory points for basically just having a single worker on there, so they get 2 points. Now, as you can see, I've got 1, but if I had 2 and I take this off here, I get myself 2 plus a bonus of 1. If I had 3, I get 3 plus a bonus of 1, so I could shoot up, say on green. Imagine I was on 0 up to here. If I had, so that'd be up to 4. If I had all 4 somehow or another, so imagine this card came off at some point, then what's going to happen is I take 4 plus a 1 bonus. Now, sometimes you're maxed and you can't take more than you can actually get, but you also get yourself 1 point. So you're going to gain points for doing this, and sometimes this does occur, you get all 4 people out. And if you see someone trying to do that, you want to chuck in a single person. Again, other people could be joining in, and again, in a 3-player game, you might have someone also doing this. Any non-active player is going to get themselves 2 points. Easy way to hoover up points by leaving just a single person in there. They get 2 points, plus they're going to gain 1 influence, because you always get 1 equal to the amount of people in there as the non-active player. So that's something you're looking to do. And you're getting points on here, and as you're starting to build this up, you're obviously looking to try and get synergies, getting these guys out or spending any 1 resource to get 2 development points. Development points can be good because they can help bump other things down. As these go on, you're going to need these to actually get out other buildings. So we can quickly look through some of those other buildings, but as you can see, these are the level 1 tiles, but they do get more and more interesting. There are also hotels, which let you get more of your people from the pool back. There's various other little tiles over here, little places in the city, which allow you to interact and duplicate other things, which means you might not build any cities or hotels, but other people can then piggyback on your actions as well. So for example, here's a hotel, you get to an extra person, you spend a person, take that person off, you're getting yourself a person, you would have got 5 victory points, and of course earlier on you'd have to spend this amount of influence. So in this case, 3 in commerce and 1 transportation, because a hotel needs transportation and is expensive. Clever game. This is a very clever game. It's by Looping Games, as I mentioned. So obviously other games by Looping Games I do have on the channel, such as 1911, Amazon and Scott. This is very highly rated, and I also give my rating above average. Yes, I think about 7.5 based on over 2,700 reviews at time of recording. I would give this a 7.5. It feels like a bit of a slow burn initially. I do think it takes a bit longer than 45 minutes, but it's a very interesting game. Like I said, you're bumping these cells up and down. They don't seem to get lost. It's nice and easy just to roll this across by 1s, and you get some extra bonus points at the end. So whoever happens to have the most in each of these zones, so let's say for, obviously for tourism, if I happen to be the lead compared to anybody else, I'll get myself 4 bonus points. This is of course the end game trigger, once everyone's finished the game. So if you get 4 points, if you're in the lead, if not you're tied, then you'll both get 2 points. And again, you do for this one and this one and this one, so probably won't get any points here. I might do some points here. And this one again is the same. If you're in the lead, you get that too. If there's some tie breaks, you're basically going to add up all your points here. These are worth double. And basically that is the game. Again, there's lots of different things to play with. You might not necessarily get out and play with every tile, because those level 2 tiles, again, the final one will appear, but of course you might not actually get a chance to play with it. But you have various other things you can be doing. You can spend any 1 influence to gain 8 points, but it's a case of, well, do I want to spend that to do this, or are there other things I can chain together? Sometimes you're looking to get things in a row, so sometimes you might want to try and influence something. So basically you can score an entire grid, of one particular colour, and therefore you're going to get all those points, which could give you 10 points or whatever. Lots of symbology. You might think, whoa, hang on, what does this mean? That is all listed here in the rulebook as well, so you might want to check that out. But like I said, a very good game. I highly recommend it. Again, any questions always do let me know at the comments of best on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Also images over on Instagram, etc. I'll be talking about this on the podcast. And of course, I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. But for now, that has been Urbify, and this is from the Spiel Lesson Fair. Check out my playlist for that, as well as my how to set up, play and review list, etc. For now, thanks very much for watching. Enjoy Urbify. Back to the table.